What's up, guys? Welcome to part 3 of the video on reflections. So before I even start, if you do not, how about if I put it this way? If you do not have a piece of paper or your notebook in front of you and something to write with, please pause this video right now, go get it, and come back. When you come back and you start hitting play, I'm going to be asking 4 questions. I need the answers to those 4 questions, okay? Be honest, because I'm not going to read it. I don't need you to submit it. I want you to answer it honestly to yourself, okay? I want you to reflect about exam 1. And obviously, since this is the video, you can always pause it, rewind it, replay it, pause it, rewind it, replay it as many times as you want to hear the question, all right? And then after you have written down your answer, then hit play for the next question, okay? So I'm gonna just do a brief pause in between the questions, assuming that you paused it, rewind it to answer it. So even if you don't have to rewind it, pause it, answer the question, and then play for your second question, okay? If you listen carefully, then you won't have to go and rewind it, okay? So, go get your pen and paper, pause it here, get your pen and paper, and something to write with. And then hit play. All right, so question 1. How did you study for this exam? Question 2. How much time did you spend studying for this exam? Question 3. Before you hit the submit button, how did you feel? What do you think you got on that exam? Did you think it was A, B, C, D, or F? Okay, you don't need to give me a numerical grade. Just how, right before you hit submit, did you like, yeah, I aced it? Or did you go, this exam got me? Submit. All right. So, what did you feel like? Did you feel like you failed? Did you feel like you aced it? What grade did you think you got right before you hit that submit button? Question 4. Question 4 is this. Now that you know what your grade is, because you already hit the submit button, how would you change questions 1 and 2? And questions 1 and 2 was, how did you study for the exam? Meaning material. And question 2 was, how much time did you spend studying for this exam? And for some of you guys, you're good with it. You're like, I did exactly what I needed to do. Great. Some of you guys go, there's a lot I need to change, right? So I want you guys to think about that piece, okay? All right, so here is where I find as issues in the past of students who didn't do so hot or could have done better on the exams. And here's the breakdown of it. Number 1, no matter how much I encourage for them to do the review, and since I don't count it, they don't do the review. For those ones that didn't do the review, I'm going to ask you to open the review, open your exam, and check it. Second thing, some of you guys did the review 20 times. Well, great. You learned how to do those 25 questions, exactly those 25 questions. And since I changed the numbers from review to exam, you're like, oh, I don't know how to do these ones, right? Because the numbers change. Oh, no. All right. So what you need is variety, okay? So one of the things that you should do as you're doing your homework assignments in MyLabs Plus, you should be having either an extra sheet of paper to your side or somewhere in your notebook that is, that has a Post-it note on top so you know where it's bookmarked, and write down, okay, in 5.1, number 4, stump me, right? I had to ask for help. I had to, message Chan for help. I had to do something for help. Write it down, 5.1, number 4. and done. Just list it, okay? List all the ones that you had issues with, all right? And then this way you know that in section 5.1, number 4, you had issues with, and when you're studying for the exam, you should go back to these questions and saying, okay, do these questions look like any of those review questions? And you might go back and like, why did I have an issue with 5.4 number 1? I mean, 5.1 number 4. It doesn't make any sense, right? So I want you to think of it that way as well. Like, why do I have this issue? I understand this. This is easy, right? And that can happen as well, which is great, all right? Next thing is that when you're going over the review, know what section each problem is coming from, okay? Typically, I have them right in order. So if the review if your exam is covering 3.1 to 4.3, it's typically in that order. The only time that I switch orders a little bit is so that if it fits, especially for the review, it will fit the less sheets, or a problem doesn't leak to another page. You know, you see choice A, choice B, and then next page, choice, C and choice D. So I want you guys to understand that's why I would move problems for only that reason, but it should cover everything and you should know what section those are coming from, okay? And so what happens when you know what section those problems are coming from, because what I'm saying to you is don't study just the review questions, right? Study a variety of those review questions. So where can I go, right? So one is double check your lab work, right? Double check your lab work and going, are any of these problems like the problems on the review, okay? Next thing is you can look at e-text and study plan on MyLabs Plus. So let me show you what that looks like. So let me share my screen here, and I'm gonna go directly to that. And so in here, what I'm gonna show you is, in MyLabs Plus, like for the ones that have access, has purchased the access code, you have e-text right here. When you click on it, it's going to ask you to open this content in a new tab. So just click on that. It'll open a new tab for you. Then click e-text. And you might see over here on the right hey, I need to click on it for, to allow this to happen. So it takes a little bit of time. So once this loads, oops, dang it, go back. Come on. There it goes. So what I can do is on this menu here, when I click on it, I can go, okay, I'm looking for, so let's say let's say this past review. So you're looking at chapter 3, right? And you're looking at, let's say, slope of a line, right? Actually, equation of a line. So here's 3.5 is called equation of a line, and this is the exercise set. When I click on exercise set, it's gonna bring me to that page here. So now I can scroll back up and hit X out of here so that this will show me, all right? So if you look at this, here's where the exercise set starts, and go, okay, I have a slope and it goes through that, slope and intercept, and I gotta find the equation of a line. That's not it. So let me go to the next page. Okay, here's finding equation line passing through 2 points. Oh, look, this is through a point and perpendicular to, parallel to, right? So I can start doing some of these problems here, right? So you're like, okay, great, I can do those questions, but then how do I know if I'm right or not? All right, so this is, excuse me. So this was chapter 3.5, was it? Let me go back. Yep, chapter 3.5, exercise set. So when you come to this menu button again, and you go down, all the way down, all the way down, answer to selected exercises. When you click on it, it'll go to A1, okay? So even though it's A1 is chapter 1.2. So maybe A10, hit enter, it'll go to A10. Let's see here, oh, 3.5, exercise set, right? But you've noticed it's all the odd problems. So you might want to do an odd problem and then check your answer, okay? That might be something worthwhile doing, all right? So that's one thing. The other one was study plan. I would tell you the problems in the textbook will be more difficult than the problems that you find here in the study plan. So in the study plan, when you click on it, this is what it will show. It's recommendations. You're going to hit all chapters. And in all chapters, you will see this pull down. So you can click on chapter 3, 3.5. Now you have all of these choices here, right? So maybe you want only to find equation of perpendicular and parallel lines. So you're going to click on that. And then you can just click on the problem. Okay? And it'll give you a problem. So through this point, parallel to this point, to this line, okay, is a multiple choice. Great. Now here's the other part. Look at this. So every time you do a homework, this is going to tell you what section is from, okay? So you can start doing this problem, click it. Obviously, you can check your answer, okay? After you check your answer, and it's right, you can click, same spot as the check answer would be similar question. So you can click on that, it'll give you a new question asking about the same idea, okay? So hopefully that will help you as well, all right? So those are two things that I think that would be very helpful. So let me stop sharing here and come back to me. All right. So most students like to study problems rather than concepts. And what do I mean? Here's an example. I had a student that contacted me and we were doing adding and subtracting fractions. So the first question was adding and subtracting two fractions. So I went through it, show them how to do it, common denominator, yada, yada, yada. And they're like, oh, cool, I got it. So I give them a problem to do and nailed it. He goes, this next problem is where the issue is going to be. I'm like, okay. So he shows me, he said it is adding, subtracting three fractions. Well, if we are studying by problem, then yes, adding, subtracting three fractions is very different from adding and subtracting two fractions. The problem is that between those two problems, the concept is exactly the same. Okay? No different. Exactly the same. Okay? So, with that being said, study concepts, right? Like equation of a line. I need a point, I need a slope. Because the problem that we mostly have was, an equation of a line that goes through this point, perpendicular to this line. Okay, so I got a point. I need a slope. I need the slope. This is where it gives me the slope, which is, what's the slope of this line? Find it perpendicular. Great, I got a point and a slope. I can find an equation of a line, okay? So think of concepts. Looks are always going to be different. The concept is all going to be the same, okay? And that's going to come back up over and over and over again, right? So the next thing that you guys are going to be like use as an excuse is, but I work. And my reply to you is this, and I think it's worse that you're not working, but you might say, hey, but I have to work. And I have very little sympathy for you, because when I was in your seat, I had 3 jobs and a full schedule. So for me, because there's something I wanted. I wanted education. I know that school was important. These 3 jobs was also important to me as well because I needed money. And just so you guys know, I've been working since I was 8 years old. So it's hard for me to be sympathetic, empathetic to you unless you're doing 3 full-time jobs. And the thing of it is that, my next question to you is, okay, let's say you are working a job. Let's say you're working 2 jobs. Are you giving 120% in both those jobs? Well, if you can do that, then you should give 120% to your education as well. Okay? So, and there's a time and place for it. All right? And if you have kids, same thing. You're going to give 120% to your kid, and you're going to need to give 120% to your course, to your schoolwork. All right? So I would tell you, I'm not saying don't use that excuse, but you have to remember, it is an excuse. Okay? So my question to you is, where do you want to be on August 3rd when this semester ends? What do you want to do? Do you want to pass this class or not? What are you willing to do to make that happen? Are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to put 120% into it? And sometimes you guys might need some reminders. And don't call on anybody else to give you those reminders. You have to remind yourself. Okay? It's not like you can tell your 2-year-old, hey, remind me to do my homework tonight. The kid's like, okay. Can I have chocolate? Can I have dessert? They're not going to remind you. They're going to think about that. Okay? So here's what I would tell you to do. Maybe write a note, tape it to your bedroom door. Close your bedroom door. Right? If you are working bright early in the morning, put on your bedroom door facing out. And when you come home, you'll see that and go, okay, I have 3 assignments I have to get done before I can go in to my bedroom. So you'll have to sit down and get those done. All right. If you work evenings and, you're going to wake up, you work overnight and you're going to wake up like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. Well, great. Make those notes and post on the inside of your bedroom. Right. And then this way, when you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, crap, I got to do 3 assignments before I can do anything else. And that's what you're going to have to do. Right. So I want you guys to kind of set those daily goals, schedule yourself saying, you know what, I'm working the B shift today. So I got to 11. So I need to wake up by 7 a.m., put 2 hours in, get some of this work done. And then when I get home, I'll put 2 more hours in and call it a night. Right. So those are the things that you kind of have to like schedule yourself. All right. Just like if it was an appointment, but it's just every single day. So you guys just need to do those things to kind of get yourself going. Now, the other thing to think about is this. In October, my wedding got called off, and obviously we're no longer together. But, I was down. I was not very motivated, which is understandable, but to me, it's still an excuse. So I needed something to kind of motivate me. And I'm here in Florida really by myself. And it was because of her that I moved down here. So the only people I have down here is me, myself, and I. My parents aren't here. My best friend is, still up in New York, and that is just the case. It is what it is. So I started listening to some of the motivational speakers, and I really can't tell you the last time I listened to music in my car. One of the, people that I listened to his name is Eric Thomas, for short is E.T. And his, I guess his name is, you also might have heard him as the E.T., the hip hop preacher. So maybe that's something that you might need to just say, you know what, you're right, Eric. I need to get my life in gear. I need to set some goals. I need to ask myself, what do I really want, right? So those are the things that you might want to do just to help get you to the next level of things. And without listening to those things, I wouldn't be where I am right now. And you know, I'm trying to help you guys because, you know, one of the things that he always preaches is to serve. And obviously you're going to have some professors that are going to serve and trying to help you be successful. And some of you guys are going to take advantage of it, and some of you guys are not, which is up to you. But I'm here. I'm trying to make videos to try to help you. I'm trying to do things to help you. I've been up since 5 this morning, and I'm still going at 10 p.m. So I hope this video helps you, and good luck.